I'm so done with, done with. I'm so done with, done with. Oh, I'm so done with, done with. I got tons of soul. I got tons of soul.
Shortfall, you are breaking down my wall. Now I'm a waterfall. As I recall, we were all in all and off and on a waterfall. Won't you stop, 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 stop? Seriously, stop. Whoa, drop the floppy covers, blow.
Hey chat, how you doing today? Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, happy mid of the week. How are y'all doing? Sure. Let me talk to you. So, busy weekend, busy past few days. Worked on a little bit of alerts, nothing new that's worth showing yet. Music's acting weird. I've also worked on swapping out sound alerts for Blurp. There were some deficiencies and instability in sound alerts I wasn't super happy with, so I took down sound alerts, put it to a panel, moved all the sound effects I could over to Blurp. So at least it has feature parity and whatnot with what sound alerts was doing. Did some initial testing, everything looks solid, but of course, as everything new, there might be bumps, so we'll work through those. One of the main benefits that stuck out to Blurp for me that I wanted to leverage is that subs can get a discount on sound effects. And so if you sub to me, currently you get half off all sound effects on Blurp. So, not bad. What else? Helping out a few friends with other technical stream stuff. And been trying to think of like ideas beyond some simple stuff for next week, because next week I'm gonna have a bonus stream on Tuesday. If you haven't seen it in the Discord, that would be my affiliate anniversary stream. So I'm probably just gonna do at least a longer stream that day from noon till whenever. Thinking of just reusing some of the hot sauce packets as like incentives, like just a fun one that every other sub or every 5 subs or something like that, do a hot sauce packet just to have fun with it all day. Yeah, so that's on the docket of things to do that will be happening in the near future. If you have any things you want to add to the Blurp, I think there's viewer functionality that you can add some and just execute it from the overall brought up library, so that's super cool. Tonight we have 3 games I want to play. One's from LurkIt, one's from Keymailer, and the third one I'm leaning towards a game I haven't played in a long time called not Kerbal Space Program. We've been playing that a lot recently. No, Dyson Sphere Program. So we'll most likely play that, but there's a good chance I'll just fall back to KSP because I'm kind of flagging today. The plan was Dyson Sphere Program, but I do want to not push myself too hard if that's not going to work out. And KSP is just a good chill out, wind down game for the rest of the evening. Trying to think if there's anything else. Not that I can think of. The Keymailer game has some weird issues, at least noted on the Steam page, so I'm hesitant to give that too much time if it's still a work in progress. The first game is called Magnet Crush, which is it's like a puzzle action game that was ported for mobile. Willing to give it a shot on its own merits. Second game, the Keymailer game, is called Oni something or another. Road to the Mightiest Oni. But yeah, it's I loaded up for a little bit and there's like no main menu, no options. That's not in the immediate sense. So that may have issues. But like I said, I'm on the fence whether or not we're gonna do DSP or KSP. Either way, we're gonna go in space. But which one? Not sure. I like to do DSP because it's a very fun game. There's content that's been added since I last played. I want to explore that. I love space. Update on my quitting vaping. I've not slipped yet. I've been doing a lot of gum and patches to help at my baseline of nicotine. So that part's a little rough, but getting through it. I'm just holding out for it to mostly just work through like the non-chemical addictions, if that makes sense, the more psychological and oral fixation type of addictions. So I'm trying to work through that by throwing that more so, and or at least supplementing or replacing it. This comes almost dead. Okay. Anywho, so first game first, it's gonna be Magnet Crusher. I think it is somewhat new. I think it's in beta testing right now, or was recently released. I'm not sure. The game key looked a little weird for me on that. I've also been trying to tweak the lighting and camera angles to get better views, better angle and view of face cam, so you guys can have more fun with it and it looks a little more natural. I have my monitors kind of highly up because I have weird proportions between my torso and my arms. So monitors are kind of high relative to other positions. So it allows me to, or it encourages me to have a better posture, which is something I've never been good at. But all this rambling aside, let's get into the game. Let's get into the action. Let's have some fun and see what this game's about. Magnet Crusher. I turned off the music and turned down some of the audio just so it's not too abrasive. Why does that have a Twitch logo? Oh, hold on. Hold on one sec. I don't connect my Twitch account. I didn't realize the Twitch integration. That's super cool. Okay. So yeah, we have Twitch on this, so let me switch back. I wasn't sure if it's going to show anything sensitive, so I just wanted to be on the safe side. Yeah, survival mode has Twitch integration. Let's see how this plays. So if it hits me, I lose health, but if I hit it, I'm fine. Okay. So the really key of it is just to keep moving then, right? Let's see if we can get no options menu mid pause, is there? Fine. Okay. I guess I put... Are the sound effects just that quiet? Huh. Okay, the sound levels are kind of weird. Still don't want my own music because, again, DMCA. But survival seems like it's a bunch of fun. There we go. That's a little bit better. The sound effects are kind of bland-ish. I don't know if bland's the right word, but there's kind of they seem to lack a little bit of personality. Okay. It's an interesting game. The mobile port UI is not something I'm super happy about. I don't know how I feel about that really. There we go. Like the mechanic is not super complicated, but it doesn't have to be. I enjoyed this. This is like a good like head empty kind of game, you know? Like power-ups. Ah. So chat gets to pick bonuses. Okay, so this reminds me a bit of the arena game we played a little while back. Where I had a similar thing where chat can vote on bonuses, which is kind of cool. I'll just pick random. Okay. Oh, there goes my health. Sure, continue, why not? Ah, so what's this? So okay, so it may not be who initiates contact, it's the speed. I have to go at minimum speed to be destructive, or else I take damage. Okay. That wasn't super clear to me off the bat, but it's fine. What did it say? Wreck? Text said wrath, but the voice said wreck. Kind of weird. I like the enemy diversity. Like you have the basic, you know, homing guys that just try and run into you. You have the stationary shooters, and then you have the ones that train on you shooters so far. So that's kind of cool. Like, I wonder what else they're having up their sleeve. So I wasn't going fast enough. Okay. Yeah. Let's try again. Okay. So yeah, the gravity physics and magnetism feel pretty good. I'll give them that. That feels like dead on. Don't change anything about that. It does take a little bit of getting used to for me. But that's a me problem. That's not a game problem. You know, every control scheme takes me a little bit to get used to. So that's nothing on the game at all. I clicked off screen. So maybe having the cursor bound to the window might be a good improvement, or have an option to have it so, even if you don't want that by default. Maybe there is one, I didn't see it. It is, all in all, pretty decent. Yeah, this would be definitely a good chill out game. And if you are a streamer on Twitch, having the viewers play with you would be super cool. All right. Just pick random again. Invulnerable. Okay. This doesn't last that long, does it? So what I would like in terms of like visual design that might be a nice improvement potentially. Would be a visual indicator of when you're going fast enough to win against enemies versus when you're not, you know? Let me change this up. So like you're spinning around and the gravity's taking you around, and when I'm taking damage, it's not super visually clear of why, because there's times where I think I feel like I'm going fast enough, and there's times where I'm not, and it's not super consistent to my eyes. So perhaps like a color change or like a different trail, or I'm not sure, like just something visual to indicate like, oh, I'm fast enough to hit my enemies and destroy them. I'm no longer going fast enough to hit my enemies and destroy them. I think that's the linear, but again, I'm not even sure. Like, some of that's not being super well communicated to the player. The actual control scheme of like left click and right click and aiming with the cursor, no issues whatsoever. That is working perfectly. Yeah, like I have no problems there. Survival seems like it's a good mode. I want to try out another mode or two, but that's just some initial thoughts. When I first loaded up in the game, I wasn't able to get to the options menu initially, so I had to play a little bit to get to that point. And that could be better, in my opinion. Let's see what arcade feels like. So it's just high score kind of thing. Okay, so we have like teleporters and whatnot to contend with. And rounds? Okay. Like there's a hexagon there, but it doesn't seem to be consistent of like, oh, I can kill things. It's a new enemy type, that's kind of cool. Okay, how do I... how? Oh, you have to have a magnet going. Okay, that's interesting. Different. Oh. Sure, why not? So the obstacles and the teleporter add a lot of dynamicism to it, which I like a lot. Ah, fuck! Hey, Palico.
Hello.
How you doing? Welcome in. Definitely got me with that. Did the lights actually go off? I didn't catch that if it did. If not, my apologies. Yeah, Lumia was disconnected. That's my bad. Let me refund you that flashbang. Flashbangs? Is it plural? Yes. Well, now you have one more left. I should write a check to make sure that StreamerBot's connected to Lumia at all times. I have it that Lumia is running. I don't have a check that it's running, that it's connected. Just something I should improve. Ooh, a different level. Ah. Where are you going? Okay. Okay. This is an interesting game. Definitely different. Reminds me, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Plasma Pong, which was a game that you can't really get anymore because of Atari's like takedown notices. It was a fan-made recreation of the classic Pong game, but it added fluid dynamics to it, to where each paddle can push and pull on the fluid of the map and influence games, you know, influence the map that way, which is really cool and it was a lot of fun. It was definitely very different. Okay. Ah, balls. Sure, continue. Okay. And level complete. Last level. Can I do it? Come on. Oh, that was a good oh. Started out strong, but could not complete it. Yeah, it does remind me, like, Geometry Wars, it's definitely, like, very orthogonal in that sense, which is not a bad thing. I think Geometry Wars would have had a lot more fanfare and reaction. Just a bit different. Geometry Wars also had like a little more enemy variety and more specials you can work with that were more impactful to the overall gameplay. Like the bombs did a whole lot to the map versus like just invulnerability for a second. So I think there's a lot of good bones here. The visual feedback of when you're damaging enemies still needs some work. Controls are fine. Maybe a little more enemy variety. Maybe a little more interesting map background animations. Because like just hexagons animating a little bit, it just only does so much. Geometry Wars like 15, 20 years ago had the explosions actually warp the background, did like fluid dynamics on it. So that's what you're sort of comparing against. Controls are fine. I would say this very mobile-friendly UI is... I'm sorry, this puts me off. That's a me thing, perhaps. I like that there's like the Twitch integration for survival mode. That's super cool. Brownie points for that. Okay. What's this? I'm not gonna link my mobile account. Well, the fact that you can link to mobile and sync your game progress is super interesting though. So it's very much like a downtime idle kind of game where you're in between like tasks. So if you're on the subway from work, or on the train, or if you're waiting for like water to boil while you're cooking dinner, I'll have to play this a map or two and then put it down. So it's kind of like Candy Crush and those kind of games in that sense. So I feel like this has a very mobile first, and like the desktop wasn't an afterthought, but wasn't the first thought either. Which I'm sorry, I'm just gonna find disappointing. Yeah. No matter what, I'm just gonna find that disappointing, just because I'm on PC, I'm playing a PC game. It looks like, if it's not, doesn't feel like a PC game, that's a critique. Like, I'm end of story. I think that's also the background of why the fanfare graphics are kind of minimalized, is to be more mobile friendly and power conscious, right? Because you're working with a battery system in that sense. So overall, I think it has a lot of good potential. Rework the UI a bit of the menus. Let the main options should be up here. This is not options is not an afterthought. It should be up here with the profile. Which, do you have like? Okay. Interesting. I'll give you that you have a lot of stats, which is super cool. Like, I dig that. Abilities, skins. So funny enough, a lot of these are reminding me of like old school Halo 2 icon designs from back on the original Xbox. That's what this is giving me the vibes of. I don't know why. That's just the first thing that popped in my brain. I remember like back then we would like make all these stupid like funny joke ones, me and some clanmates, and there were like one design that you actually could fit a penis out of things, which is fucking hilarious. All that aside, this is kind of cool. A little basic, like, okay, it's animated. Is there particles? Is there a shader effect? Is there something else? Maybe more trailing effect? So it's not a bad start. It just feels like, why would I bother, right? This isn't visually interesting enough for me to bother. And I don't mean to be harsh, but I also want to be direct with where I think things could be better. Overall, good bones, good potential. You know, the emblem creator from COD never had an Xbox. That's fair. It's somewhat similar. Essentially, in like Halo 2, you had like pre-designed like geometric shapes, and you could pick between like 3 different colors for the overall shape design. You have a background, a foreground, and 3 color selections. And the color wasn't like full spectrum; it was like preset colors, right? But if you combine certain like designs on the different layers with different colors, one would wipe out part of the other, and you can draw things effectively with that. It was still limited, so you couldn't put like full-on pornography or anything like on there, because for obvious reasons. But that's what this makes me feel like. This design, okay, the sparkles are kind of cool. Okay, I retract some of my critique, but this design reminded me of like a swirl pattern I saw on Halo 2. Like this, you can make this design pretty much on Halo 2. Like you have the hexagon and the 6-pointed star kind of thing. This too, like this effect was on there too. Things like this all seriously remind me of Halo 2 emblem designer stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure this was actually a pattern there. I don't remember exactly, but a lot of these ring that bell. Overall, I think the foundation has a good start. It doesn't feel finished, and it feels like a mobile port. So making the UI on desktop a first-class citizen, make the options a first-class citizen, and then when you're on desktop, let the heavier graphics, you can do a little bit more. You can do a little bit more and have some more visual candy going on. And looks like an Ubisoft. Oh yeah, there was one down there. What was it? Yeah, Ubisoft. Actually, I think that's a dead-on match for an Ubisoft logo. You actually want to check that, devs. This might actually be like trademark infringement. You don't want to get dinged by that. So, good call, Palico, on that. All in all, I like it a lot. I think they're, again, like the foundation, the bones are there in a good place. Just everything around it needs the next level of work. Porting just from mobile and only really adding Twitch integration for the most part in terms of functionality, and that's it. This is not going to cut it. I'm sorry. Like, how much is this selling for? Let me check before I really harp on it. $6. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, as is, this game barely would pass $2 in my book. And like half of that, I think, is the Twitch integration as a novelty. But otherwise, has a lot of good potential. The gameplay, like the control mechanics feel good. The feedback system of the destruction needs a little bit more fanfare. Just in general, like fanfare is lacking. That's like the biggest summation I can give to this game. It's just, it feels like I am meant to be running this on a laptop from 2003, and you can do more. It's okay. Like, Intel integrated graphics from 2012 can do more than this. It's okay. Don't worry about your performance budget. You don't have to worry about power on desktop. You have a lot more headroom, and please use it, or else you're not going to stand out. I just got Darkest Dungeon a few days ago for $3, but it was on sale. But even still, like, normal price of Dark. Let me take a look as a pricing comparison. Excuse me. Yeah, Darkest Dungeon is normally $25. So pound for pound for normal pricing, I think $6 is still a bit much for what's presented. But I think if you add the visual fanfare, you did the actual visual fidelity work, this could easily exceed $6. You could probably get this up to $10 worth of sale value and be a good value proposition. Just right now, when it feels very much like a mobile port, you're telling your potential audience, your potential clientele, your potential customers, this game is free on your phone, but somehow give me money that's $6 here when there's nothing materially different beyond like Twitch integration. So that's why you really gotta make the desktop experience distinct and exemplary and enticing and exciting to really justify that ask. And it's just not there yet. Mechanically, I don't think you need to change much. Of my first impressions, mechanically, I don't think you're on a good footing. Most of my critiques, I think, are going to be visually oriented, which is a good and bad thing. Did you rate these games for the devs? Sometimes I do. I'll give like a 5-point score. Not often though. I'm mostly just trying to enumerate my thoughts. I think 1 or 2 times a dev was watching a stream. We had a good back and forth on things that could be better. And by all means, whenever I review game keys, either from LurkIt or from Keymailer, it's all about a first impressions critique from someone who majored in game design, who's shipped several games on various platforms. So it's not as if my background is completely devoid of context. I haven't made the biggest games. I don't think none of them technically qualify as AAA. I was always working at mid-sized studios, so I did work with big IPs though, be it Cartoon Network, Disney, Wall Entertainment, which did Kick-Ass. That was fun. I worked on a reimplementation of Burger Time and a few others. So that's what I want to bring into this content when when I get keys. I want to give back to the devs something meaningful and valuable, and hopefully old school game development experience is something to take into account with all the other feedback they can probably get from other sources, because they have a feedback forum, they have a Discord, they have a Twitter, and obviously there's always the Steam discussion boards and various other communication mechanisms. This is my particular soapbox of opinion and feedback. I want to show off the game to people who may not have seen it. That's what one part of value I'm adding to, or if someone actually wants to give it a try and is okay with like some of the things that are stand to be improved, by all means. All that aside, if nothing else, if I can put out a stream and a VOD that has some critiques and things that can be improved and guidance on how to do that, and rationale why and thought process why, I would hope that they can consider that as part of improvement points on their next development efforts for the next patch, so they can be more successful. I would want every single game I play to be successful. Even if it's not a game design for me, I want it to be successful because it's obviously for someone else, and I want that person to have fun. I want that person to enjoy their time. I want them to enjoy their dollar per entertainment value. That's always my motivation, that in terms of game development, game sales, game markets, game economy, that consumers can get games that are worth their time and worth their money, and game devs could have a healthy, sustainable lifestyle making them. That's not impossible to do. Unfortunately, there's many macroeconomic forces making it less likely and less fun to do. But at least if my tiny voice can do anything to push the needle in the right direction, I'm gonna do it for whatever it's worth. That's my modus operandi. That's my design in life. I want to make everyone's lives, just an iota better if I can. Everyone deserves a good life. Yeah, I think we've gone through this game quite a bit. There's really not much more to say. There's one more mode that was adventure mode. I think it's more like a campaign kind of thing, but I think the core mechanic's not significantly different. So I think we're gonna take a break, run an ad, and I'll switch to the next game. Or at least we get ready for the next game. We'll run an ad. Hydrate, so you guys need to get some water as well. Run to the restroom. It'll be a 3-minute ad. I'm trying to exactly, Palico. It's not complicated. Like, no one asked to be born, but as a fact of being born, you're human. We have the resources for it. You deserve to have a decent life with dignity and respect, and the bare necessities provided. We have the means for it. There's no reason why not. Anyways, short break, 3-minute ad, and we'll resume with the next game and do the same kind of thing there. So BRB, you should be asleep. If you need to go to bed, Palico, I won't be offended by all means.